Hey yo, can we hear it? So, hey, how's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode of Elevated. I'm your host, the Elevated Engineer. Let's get right into it. So, I was sent this trailer from my Facebook network, and salute to my network first of all. But this is I think. Oh man, this is such a touchy topic. I'm not gonna give away too much. I just want you all to watch the trailer, and then I'll react to it. But I just want you all to watch it. So just give me a second. I'm gonna pull this trailer up. For anyone who's seen this documentary, and we're just gonna do a sound check, really quick, everyone. The documentary is called Coded Bias. So yeah, it's pretty deep. The sister, her name is Joy something. It'll come up in a minute, but I just want you all to and
during my first semester at MIT, I got computer vision software that was supposed to track my face. It didn't work until I put on this white mask. I'm thinking, all right, what's going on here? Is it the lighting conditions? Is it the angle at which I'm looking at the camera? Or is there something more? That's when I started looking into issues of bias that can creep into technology.
Our ideas about technology that we think are normal are actually ideas that come from a very small and homogeneous group of people.
Vast amounts of data at incredible speeds.
Everybody has unconscious biases, and people embed their own biases into technology.
This kid got stopped as a result of facial recognition misidentification, and they used that as justification to search you. This is an innocent child.
Racism is becoming mechanized.
Systemic issues are only going to be hardwired into new technologies.
It's not just face classification, it's any data-centric technology.
Every day, we are all being scored.
Who gets hired? Who gets housing?
I am making predictions for your life right now.
The people who own the code deploy it on other people, and there is no accountability.
Management in Atlantic Towns wanted to install the facial recognition software. Pretty much turn this place into Fort Knox.
The technology is being rapidly adopted, and there are no safeguards. We are socially controlled in a way that we don't see. Technology that analyzes faces could be biased, but the company is pushing it anyway.
What demographic is it most effective on?
White men.
Show me that it's going to be fair, that it's legal, before you put it out. That's what we don't have yet.
It's going to take people coming together, striving for justice in this age of automation.
that shit was scary as hell. Like that shit. Yo, how can you not be black and not be afraid of that, or have any type of melanin in your skin, whatever? Or like, how can you not be afraid of that shit? That's insane, right? But it's not. So, I also wanted to show, like, she's done a bunch of talks on like YouTube and stuff, but I just want to go over. She did this little I don't know if this is not a TED Talk, it's Bloomberg Live, but I want to she kind of goes more in depth to it, so I want to kind of look at that for a little bit, just because she can explain it much better than I can. So just give me a second.
Joy Blum-Winnie, I am a poet, of code, and I tell stories that make daughters of diasporas dream and sons of privilege pause. But I'm also a computer scientist, and today I'm going to share with you how I started addressing issues to do with algorithmic bias. So in my first slide, you'll see a term that I call the coded gaze. And the coded gaze, like the white gaze or the male gaze or the post-colonial gaze, is a reflection of the priorities, preferences, and at times prejudices of those who have the power to shape technology. And I first really started thinking about this as I was working on an art installation, and something didn't quite go according to plan, as you'll see in this demonstration. So you'll see here, I have my lighter skinned friend's face, no problem. I try to get detected. I need a little assistance, right? And so this experience of coding in a white mask is what led me to start questioning facial analysis and recognition systems and more broadly artificial intelligence. So I shared this experience with the TED audience, got over 1 million views, and I thought somebody might want to check my claims. So let me check myself, and I ran my TED profile image through AI systems from a range of companies. Some didn't detect my face at all, and the ones who did labeled me male. I'm a phenomenal woman. I am not a man. So that was not the ground truth. And so, as annoying as this was, being detected by technology that can be used for mass surveillance is not always what you actually want. And so as I learned in the US that 1 in 2 adults, over 130 million people, has their face and facial recognition networks, I got concerned when I learned that these systems can be deployed unwarranted with systems that haven't even been checked for accuracy. So what happens when you're misidentified as a criminal suspect? And in the UK, where performance metrics are being recorded, the numbers don't look so great. You have false positive match rates over 90%, more than 2,400 innocent people being matched with criminal suspects, and you even have 2 women who were falsely matched with men. So my earlier example has real-world implications. And as we talk about the future of work and how AI will replace jobs of the future, we cannot forget that AI is now serving as the gatekeeper for current jobs. So here's a company called HireView, and they also use facial analysis technology. And they say, give us a video of a face, and we can pick up verbal and nonverbal cues to tell you things like emotional engagement and problem-solving style. And here's the kicker. We train on the current top performers of our company. For me, when I heard this, I was thinking, do they know they could be in violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which says you can't discriminate on the basis of gender or color when it comes to the workplace and employment? And we're not.
Just a quick note, like how important this is. I mean, essentially, they're baking racism into code of our very infrastructure and existence. And this look at it this way. Right now, they're talking about cops disproportionately killing, black people in black neighborhoods, Latinos, Hispanics, etc. Disproportionately over policing these, as they call minorities, but black folk. See, so now they say stuff like, oh, we fell for our lives when they kill an unarmed, innocent black person. But in the next 10 to 20 years, a couple of decades, they're going to be saying stuff like, oh, well, the robot accidentally killed this entire black family. Oh, because there was a malfunction in the code. Oh, but it's not racist. I don't see color. The robot doesn't see color. It can't be racist, right? That's what they're going to say. So they're starting it now. And as we know, the first person killed by a robot in America was the guy's name? He was the Army sniper, and he was in Texas, and yeah, I forget his name. But when they had him coroner or what have you. They sent the robot in and blew him up. Micah Johnson. So yeah, so it does happen. So yeah, this is what you gotta pay attention to.
About using computer vision or facial analysis technology, we really have to think.
Now, when she says computer vision, I know I talked about this before because I have a computer vision project up on my website. But it's basically how computers analyze images and break them down in numbers. So how computers see images, hence computer vision.
Think about all of the areas in which AI is currently being used. So this includes hiring, but also college admissions. And we know that can be biased, as well as access to financial services. And even when we're thinking about things like predictive policing, who has access to freedom? And so because of the widespread use of AI for my MIT thesis, I decided to investigate the accuracy of facial analysis systems when it came to guessing the gender of a face. But before I could even begin, I ran into a problem. Many of the benchmarks that are used to say how well we're doing with facial analysis tasks like detection or gender classification are themselves skewed. So here you're seeing metrics from a benchmark from the National Institute for Standards and Technology. It's 75% male, 80% lighter skinned individuals. So for me, these pale male benchmarks are really destined to fail the rest of society if we don't address them. And the question is, how did it come to this? How did we end up with such skewed benchmarks? And this is something I call power shadows. So essentially, if we're not intentional about being inclusive, what we'll do is we will reinforce existing inequalities. So if you look at the way that benchmark was derived, they use public figures. So now let's think about who's represented in the public. Let's look at the representation with parliamentarian members. You're at 77%. So it's not so surprising then that the patriarchy becomes a power shadow on these data sets. Similarly, which
Bob, we starting to get a little a little bit into the liberalization of the argument. So I'm gonna keep it going for a couple more minutes. I'm sure it'll be over in a couple more minutes. So just rock and roll with me.
Images are going to be most accessible. Which media representation are we going to see? You're going to see more lighter skinned individuals. So as we're thinking about our AI presence and future, we need to make sure we're addressing these power shadows. And so I created a new benchmark that was more inclusive when it came to gender parity and also when it came to skin type distribution. So I could finally get to my research question. How accurate are IBM, Microsoft, and Face++, a billion-dollar tech company in China, when it comes to guessing the gender of a face? And if you look at the accurate measurements, it seems okay if you look at the aggregate accuracy. 88%, not so great, but not horrible. 94%, 90%, maybe you get a B depending on the grading scale. But now let's look at gender. And when we break it down by gender, we see that all systems work better on male faces than female faces in our data set. And when we look at skin type, we're seeing that all of the systems in aggregate work better on lighter skin than darker skin. Then we took it a step further and we broke it down by intersection. So not just looking at gender, but also looking at skin type. And skin type instead of race, because I could be black, Mariah Carey is black, we're on a different spectrum when it comes to the actual shade. So this is why we look at skin type in particular. And what we see here with the intersectional breakdown, there's perfect performance for one group, the pale males, flawless performance. 98% for lighter females, 94% for darker males, and then we're at closer to 80% when it comes to darker females. These were the good results.
So basically, if you're a black female, like you don't even see you.
Let's look at Face++. China's supposed to have the data advantage, but the type of data you have really matters. And also you see here why it's important that you do an intersectional analysis, because here we're seeing that's actually darker males that have the better performance, lighter females at 94%. And now we've dropped to 65% accuracy, commercially sold product. IBM, again, we're seeing their differences, right? If you're comparing darker males or lighter females, again, why an intersectional analysis is important, because different companies will perform in various ways. And if we break it even further and we split it by the actual skin type, we get error rates that get close to a...
They got a white woman. Damn! And they got damn old Precious on the damn end over here. That's bad.
Coin toss. We're talking binary classification. We have a 50-50 shot because we reduced gender to a binary. And here we're getting accuracy.
Reduce gender to a binary. Okay. Well, you get the point. So, okay. Let's go ahead and put that back. Okay. So, yeah. So at the end of the day, like, this is why Get On Code exists. Okay? This is why I'm the elevated engineer. This is why entrepreneurship matters. And this is definitely why diversity in tech matters. As a matter of fact, I mean, what really is the percentage? I mean, I know she says some pretty low number. It was like 70, 75, 78% or something like that of white male representation in tech. And I'm sure Asian is probably, whether that be Asian with Eastern Asian and like Indians, etc., etc. Yeah, they would be the next demographic. Then after that, it pretty much falls off to, I mean, whoever is lucky enough to get into tech. I mean, one of the big reasons that I started my own business because of the racism. I mean, I just keep it in a buck. Man, this is how you know, like, we are in a racist, like, world. Because when I graduated with my bachelor's, I have a bachelor's degree in computer science. And, man, after I graduated, it took me probably 3 years to get a job in tech. Anything. And I had previous tech experience. Working IT, working networking, etc., etc. I had experience, but nobody would hire me. So I probably sent out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications. I'm talking about I was going on multiple dozens and dozens of jobs that I knew I was qualified for. It was like 80% of the jobs I was qualified for, and like 10 to 15% I was overqualified for, and then 5% like I wasn't qualified for. But I still couldn't get jobs. And I know people who have way less experience and we're getting jobs that I was applying for, man. And that goes countrywide, man. Like we have so little representation in tech that it's really like kind of a travesty. So that's why this is why I do Get On Code. This is why I do these shows. This is why I do elevated engineering to highlight technology trends. And where, again, I say this all the time. I make myself for black folk, of course, because I know if I make it for black folk, it's gonna be dope. But it's for everyone. Everyone should be learning how to code and do all this stuff. So I would love to interview, what is her name? Like Joy Bull. I'm not even gonna try to say it, but the sister who did this video, I would love to interview her because she has some pretty good information. So with that being said, next topic. tragic situation that we had. First of all, this was a tragedy. And what's really worse is how the mainstream media is treating this terrorist attack. So, I mean, but who's actually targeting the Asian community? I think we gotta start asking ourselves. To be honest, the channel Professor Black Truth, he did a really good breakdown of this whole thing. To be honest, you should go check that video out. But the truth is, outside of solo incidents, black folks in general, we ain't the culprit. White supremacy is a culprit, and we all know it. Every group of people has been attacked by white supremacists. Really? I could go down the list of attacks in the last probably 3-4 years. They have attacked, maybe the last 5 years. Let's go 5 years, but they've had Sikh temples attacked, Jewish temples attacked, Islam, mosques attacked by angry white male, mostly white supremacists, mostly QAnon, blah 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 blah. Whatever you want, alt-right, whatever you want to put these dudes, incels, whatever the hell you want to put these dudes into, they're the ones to do it. Now, they're not exclusively doing it, but I mean, if we look at terrorist attacks of because the media never really defines it as terrorism, it doesn't get classified as terrorism, but that is what it is. Now, they're trying to make this guy who did the shooting, and I think he actually wounded like 13 or 14 people, but he killed 8 people, okay? And how many, I think at least, okay, so 8 of the victims were of Asian descent, Asian women, I believe, and these were massage parlors, / sex, whatever, happy ending type places. I mean, that doesn't justify it, but you know, and so the media is twisting it now, saying like he had a sex addiction. Okay, well, welcome to America, man. Welcome to America. Yeah, they'll call it everything but what it is. Now, every group has had to deal with white supremacy, terrorism on one level or another. I just named them, and y'all know it's true. Whether LGBT people, Mary shot the dude in Orlando, whatever. So, my big thing with this is terrorism, but we gotta have a discussion. We gotta have a very real discussion about Asian community and the black folks. The way they're treating this whole thing is some BS. We know who's doing these attacks, right? And I showed you all a video a few weeks ago highlighting this same thing. But they tried to blame black folks for doing this. So just give me a second, because I want to show you all what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is an article written by, her name is Michelle Malkin. And she ain't shit. But these are the narratives being pushed by the mainstream media, and it's bullshit. Okay? So I'm just going to read a part of it because honestly, it's pretty disgusting. I'm going to post a link after I upload this video so people will be able to check it out and read it for themselves. But I'm just going to read a little bit of it. Can I have your attention, please? And the article is titled, Asians, Stop Blaming Whitey. So already, can I have your attention, please? I'm going to share a little secret that liberal people of color and their public relations agents in the media don't want you to know. The recent crime wave against Asians in America's biggest city is not the fault of Donald Trump, MAGA activists, conservative talk radio, or white people. It's the fault of perpetrators and of perpetrators alone, most of whom happen to be thugs of color. Now, I want you to pay attention. This was written on March 10th. Okay? And when was the attack? I just want to show how full of shit these people are. When was the attack? 8 people were killed on March 16th. Okay? Now, this article was written before the attack happened, right? I bet you Michelle Malkin ain't talking this shit now, but this is what I'm talking about. All right, so back to the article. So let's pop the delusional bubble of left-wing agents who marched recently into New York City, Oakland, and San Francisco in unity protests against white supremacy. She put that in quotes. These wokesters blame anti-Asian bias created by imagined backlash by imagined white supremacists. So there aren't any white supremacists at all. These against China because of COVID-19, donning black and Asian unity t-shirts, they embrace the self-defeating attitude of Oakland organizer Eddie Zing, who wheedled, supporting our Asian community is not about dividing us. This support is for all of us suffering under white supremacy. We need to understand that so we can triumph and have public personal safety. This dude's trying to bring people together. I remember seeing this guy put stuff up. He's trying to bring people together. Now pay attention. Reality check. Just recently in Vallejo, California, Filipino-American store owner Mark, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, was shot 4 times in the leg by a gang of armed robbers. They were black. They were trying to rob him. Do you think they're trying to rob him because he owned a store? Or because he's Filipino? Come on, man. 2 weeks ago in Oakland's Chinatown, 91-year-old Asian man was assaulted by an assailant amidst a crime wave of more than 20 robberies and violent attacks in that neighborhood. The attacker wasn't a white hooded man in a KK robe. He was a black man in a black hoodie. In Daly City, California, 84-year-old Thai grandfather died after a brutal attack while on a daytime walk in his neighborhood. His attacker was a teenage black street criminal. Viral videos have exposed several vicious attacks on elderly Asian subway riders and pedestrians in New York City since last fall. An inconvenient detail that anyone with functional eyes could see. The perpetrators in the security camera footage weren't wearing MAGA hats. They don't have flaming crosses in hand. Inconveniently for the defunded police hipsters, the opportunists robbing, punching, and shooting agents on those videos weren't white people. They are black. And that's just plain fact. More facts. Now, this is why these people are full of shit. Because they take stats and they don't give you context and they don't actually tell you where they got the facts from. Now, how do you know? More facts, quote. Federal Bureau of Justice Statistics data show that of nearly 600,000 violent interracial victimizations involving blacks and whites, black suspects committed 537,204 interracial felonies, not including homicides, or 90%, and whites committed 56,394 of them, or less than 10%. This is how you know these numbers are bullshit, because black folks and white folks don't even live that close to each other on average throughout the country. No matter, unless it's in a city type environment, a majority of people don't live in cities. Big cities like that. So that's how you know this is bullshit. Okay. The Red Elephant's blog points out that black perpetrators are also overrepresented among all perpetrators of hate crimes by 50%, because black folks are the poorest, so we commit the most kinds of poverty. Also, our crimes are persecuted with higher sentences, and our neighborhoods are policed more than blacks and Hispanic Latinos too, but black people are policed more heavily than any group in America, which is why we have the most crimes. Okay, so according to the most recent Justice Department data from 2017, so that was 4 years ago, whites are underrepresented by 24%. They also don't get convicted at the rate. And when we are convicted for the same crimes, black folks are convicted. Last time I seen it was at 4 times the rate, or nearly 4 times the rate of white folks for the same crime. In fact, they had to change the legislation of the crack versus cocaine sentencing, whereas crack was like 10 times the severity of cocaine, and thus more time was given to crack users over cocaine users. Okay, now, so how do you know Michelle Malkin is full of shit? Because you can go through this article and you don't see her sources. She's just saying Federal Bureau of Justice statistics show what year are you taking these from? Are you taking aggregated data, which is data that's been compiled over decades, or are you looking in the last couple of years? Who are you really getting this information from? You're just saying Federal Bureau of Justice statistics data show. Federal Bureau of Justice statistics have a lot of data. I'm a data scientist. I swim through data every day. So that's my point. This is why this is bullshit. This is what people, I can guarantee this chick probably has a couple of degrees, or at least 1 degree, right? I guarantee she does. But she's not that smart. People who with a lot of degrees, I got a few degrees myself, but people with degrees think that they're smarter than everyone else because they have degrees, and she writes like someone like that because she thinks the people who are reading this are stupid and won't just Google her ass. Okay, so first of all, Michelle Malkin is full of shit. Okay, Michelle Malkin is the Candace Owens of Asian folks. Okay, this is what she does. Let's transform. This is what she does. This is what Candace Owens does. Like, I mean, I got way too many like Asian homeboys that don't act like this bitch. As far as I know, they're not Asian coons. I mean, the real Asian folks that are from here or know what's up with black folks and Asians. But there are some very real issues between black folks in the Asian community. But this is why Michelle Malkin is dangerous. Okay? This attack happened when on the 16th or something like that? Oh God, screw you, New York Times, trying to get money out of me. But this attack happened. So it loads up. I think it was on 16. Yeah, it was on 16. Yeah. Okay, so this attack happened on the 16th. This is almost a week after Michelle Malkin wrote that bullshit, right? And then who ends up suffering? Asian people. Because now the white guys who are actually, and let's keep it real, it is mostly white supremacists. So who's doing it? But because people like Michelle Malkin go around writing bullshit articles like that it in fact gets all the heat, if you will, after who the real culprits are. But I'm supposed to feel sorry for Michelle Malkin, right? I mean, come on, bro. Like, yo, This is what when Candace Owens says there's no such thing as racism, or she says racism doesn't exist, but then you look into her past and she sued what was it, her previous employer or the school? It was one or the other, but she sued them for racial discrimination because she was black. It's the same thing as Michelle Malkin right in this article, trying to make it seem like it's black folks who are hateful with this. Anybody who knows anything about black folks know the only people black people really hate is ourselves. Seriously. We hate white supremacy. We hate the system of white supremacy and racism. We hate racism. That's what black folks say. It's not a mystery. Black folks are not a mystery. I could say it's black Americans, those that are descendants from slaves, ADOS, FBA, African Americans, black folk. As far as I know, of course, there are other groups too, all black folks. But black folks in America, we don't like racism. And truth be told, we don't like racism against other people. But you're not gonna try to punk us, man. Cause that shit is done, bro. Like, yo, did people forget who black folks are? Like, yo, do you not realize that we will burn this motherfucker down? Figuratively speaking. But yeah, so that people like Michelle Malkin and other people, they are coons, but they are Asian coons. And at the end of the day, the only people that are going to suffer from the rhetoric and the narrative and the bullshit propaganda that people like Michelle Malkin put out there are other Asian people. And that is my point. So, with that being said, next topic. So, get on code update, man. So we're gonna be building a bot, built from Python, right? The good thing about this is I'm actually gonna be integrating. For anybody who's ever used a Telegram, it's a whole thing. I honestly hadn't even heard about it until recently because I never really had a need for it. But Telegram is similar to WhatsApp, except that you can save all your messages to a cloud server, and you can access it from any device. Unlike WhatsApp, you can only access it from your specific phone. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be integrating Telegram, and we're going to be using Python to do it. So we're going to first I'm going to go through actually registering a token to be able to register with Telegram first, and then we go into it from there. And we're gonna be sending out dog pics. We're gonna be sending out pictures of dogs. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty fun. And again, this is just a very intro level Python bot video. There's really another part that I'm thinking about adding, and that's with automating stuff you normally do with GCP, Google Cloud Platform. So I'm thinking about integrating that because I'm gonna be using Google Cloud Platform pretty heavily for the next month and a half, 2 months. So yeah, it's gonna be. I'm figure I might as well just do this kind of little video too. It'll be good for people to really kind of learn about cloud environments, the beginning of a cloud environment, the beginning of automating processes and bot stuff. So, sending out. The point is I'm going to be sending out a whole bunch of messages automatically. So, and you can apply that to anything. So, yeah. That is today's episode of Elevated. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, y'all need to like and share this video too. And I really want you all to subscribe because the more subscribers, the more people I can teach how to code, the more people I can give my perfect opinion because I'm a perfect person. Yeah, right. So my audience can grow, man. And also leave a comment Leave whatever comment you want. I'm fully aware that my audience is fairly diverse. Like my audience is kind of split between black folks, nerds, people interested in, nerd stuff, martial arts kind of stuff, all that good stuff. So I know that it's taken me a while, but I'm starting to understand who my audience is more and more, if that makes sense. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, keep it coming, man. Thank you for watching and become part of the engineering fam. Salute. I hope you like the content I am bringing. That's it.